appearance day of Srila Narottama Das Thakur. He just sang one of his beautiful songs to Srila Prabhupada, the Guru Vastakam, or the Guru Vandanam. I think I'll squeeze him into the Bhagavatam class too. But we'll start with the Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Today we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 12, text 12 through 19. So we'll read them all through in English and then we'll go back and chant to 17. So we can do our normal one by one reading.
And when all the good signs of the zodiac gradually evolved, the heir apparent of Pandu, who would be exactly like him in prowess, took birth.
King Yudhishthira, who was very satisfied with the birth of Maharaj Parikshit, had the purificatory process of birth performed. Learned brahmanas headed by Damya and Kripa recited auspicious hymns.
Upon the birth of a son, the king, who knew how, where, and when charity should be given, gave gold, land, villages, elephants, horses, and good food grains to the brahmanas.
The learned brahmanas, who were very satisfied with the charities of the king, addressed him as the chief among the poor and informed him that his son was certainly in the line of descent from the poor.
The brahmanas said, "This spotless son has been restored by the all-powerful and all-pervasive Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, in order to oblige you. He was saved when he was doomed to be destroyed by an irresistible supernatural weapon."
For this reason, this child will be known in the world as one who is protected by the personality of Godhead. O most fortunate one, there is no doubt that this child will become a first-class devotee and will be qualified with all good qualities.
The good king Yudhishthira inquired, "O great souls, will he become as saintly as a king, as pious in his very name, and as famous and as glorified in his achievements as others who appeared in this great royal family?"
The learned Brahmana said, "O son of Pritha, this child shall be exactly like King Ikshvaku, son of Manu, in maintaining all those who are born. And as for following the Brahminical principles, especially in being true to his promise, he shall be exactly like Rama, the personality of Godhead, the son of Maharaj Dashratha."
Thank you. Did anything strike you as confusing? What? Zodiac is like astrology. Astrology is actually a very ancient science. Vedas, in the Vedas. Anything else? Yeah. It said it's your son. That his son was certainly in the line of Guru. So it wasn't Yudhishthira's son. But what was the circumstance? Who remembers? I'm sure it's been discussed. Or how could why is Yudhishthira in charge here as the father? And Parikshit is referred to as his son.
Abhimanyu, who was a son of Arjuna, he been killed at Kurukshetra war while he was only 16 years old, but his son, Maharaj Parikshit, been saved.
Yeah.
So there was no father of Maharaj Parikshit, and Yudhishthira was playing that role.
So he was the grandson of Yudhishthira, but he's being seen and identified as the son of Yudhishthira, or the son of the Pandavas. Now we also experience this in the world. Sometimes a tragic incident or something irregular happens to the birth parents, and many times the grandparents take up the children from their very birth or very young, and then the child will naturally call them their parents, father, mata, pita, father, mother. But in reality, they are the grandsons or granddaughters. So I thought that was quite interesting. How even Sutta Goswami is seeing them, and everyone understood that here's the father. Just like we often say, grandfather Bhishma. Well, that's impossible. Because Bhishma he was never married, and he never had any children, so how could his children, who never existed, have children to call him as a grandfather? But because he was in that role of the grandfatherly person, he was called Grandfather Bhishma. Okay, so we will chant together text 17 and read the verse in purport. Tasman namna Vishnurata iti loke bhavishyati na sandheyo mahabhaga mahabhagavato mahan tasman namna Vishnurata iti loke bhavishyati na sandheyo mahabhaga mahabhagavato mahan tasman namna Vishnurata iti loke bhavishyati na sandheyo mahabhaga mahabhagavato mahan tasman namna Vishnurata iti loke bhavishyati na sandheyo mahabhaga mahabhagavato mahan tasman namna Vishnurata iti loke bhavishyati na sandheyo mahabhaga mahabhagavato mahan. Okay. Let's say the word for word together. Tasmat, therefore, Namna, by the name, Vishnurata, protected by Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. Iti, thus, Loke, in all the planets, Bhavishyati, shall become well known. Na, no, Sandeha, doubts. Mahabhaga, most fortunate. Mahabhagavata, first class devotee of the Lord. Mahan, qualified by all good qualities. For this reason, and the reason was that he was restored. The embryo was actually destroyed by the Brahmastra. but as we heard, it was restored by the personality of Godhead in order to oblige you. This is a very personal, something very personal is going on here. Something just because Yudhisthira was quite the devotee of Krishna, and we'll get into that a little bit about how dependent they were on Krishna for everything. And that's the glimpse we're getting in this first canto. And they are the examples of those who are surrendered to Krishna and who are so dear to Krishna. But to oblige them, Krishna extends himself to his devotees. And we hear that quite often in Krishna's pastimes, that it's not that everyone is always just going Supreme Lord, Supreme. But not only that, there is a personal relationship and the Lord is reciprocating with them. So to oblige them, he's doing them a favor. So this is quite extraordinary. He was saved when he was doomed to be destroyed. So for this reason, this child will be well known in the world as one who is protected by the personality of Godhead, Vishnu Rata, protected by Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of God. O most fortunate one, there is no doubt that this child will become a first-class devotee and will be qualified with all good qualities. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord gives protection to all living beings because he is their supreme leader. The Vedic hymns confirm that the Lord is the supreme person among all personalities. Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitanam. The difference between the two living beings is that the one, the personality of Godhead, provides for all other living beings, and by knowing him, Krishna, one can achieve eternal peace. Such protection is given by his different potencies to different grades of living beings. So we're going to talk about protection a lot, and so please keep a note and you'll be quizzed right after that. But as far as his unalloyed devotees are concerned, he gives the protection personally. Therefore, Maharaj Parikshit is protected from the very beginning of his appearance in the womb of his mother. And because he is especially given protection by the Lord, the indication must be concluded that the child would be a first-grade devotee of the Lord with all good qualities. Otherwise, why would the Lord doesn't extend himself to everybody. He says, I am equal to all, but to my devotees, I am especially inclined. So it's the reverse. He was inclined here, so therefore he must be a great devotee. This is the logic. There are three grades of devotees. So now Prabhupada is going to explain the different types of devotees, but he's already said that of all of them, Krishna will personally give protection. So the first, namely the Mahabhagavat, Madhyama Adhikari, and the Kanishta Adhikari. Those who go to the temples of the Lord and offer worshipful respect to the deity without sufficient knowledge in the theological science, and therefore without any respect for the devotees of the Lord, are called materialistic devotees or Kanishta Adhikari, the third grade devotees. Secondly, the devotees who have developed a mentality of genuine service to the Lord and who thus make friendships only with similar devotees, show favor to the neophytes, and avoid the atheists are called the second grade devotees. But those who see everything in the Lord or everything of the Lord and also see in everything an eternal relation of the Lord, so that there is nothing within their purview of sight except the Lord, are called Mahabhagavat. And there are many verses that declare this. Stavaram Jaganam Dehi Dehi Taram. Mahabhagava, or the first class devotees of the Lord. Such first grade devotees of the Lord are perfect in all respects. A devotee who may be in any of these categories is automatically qualified by all good qualities, and thus a Mahabhagavat devotee like Maharaj Parikshit is certainly perfect in all respects. And because Maharaj Parikshit took his birth in the family of Maharaj Yudhisthira, he is addressed here as Mahabhagavata, or the greatest of the fortunates. The family in which a Mahabhagavat takes his birth is fortunate, because due to the birth of a first grade devotee, the members of the family, past, present, and future, up to 100 generations, become liberated by the grace of the Lord, out of respect for his beloved devotee. Again, the Lord is extending himself to his devotees. And even if, okay, the next generation is not too Krishna conscious, still the extension will be there because of the devotee. Therefore, the highest benefit is done to one's family simply by becoming an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Vinabhutam Svayam Rupa Vamsha Kalpa Juriyascha Vipasanu Chapatitanam Bhavani So I wanted to talk about one of the main things that Prabhupada began the purport was about protection, being protected by the Lord. So when we think of the word protection, and let's just don't try to think of the perfect, but when we just think normally of what protection, what does protection mean to us? Safety, shelter, security. What is it? Oh yes, Bruce. Faith, good. Yes. Danger, fear. That's the one I was looking for. Fear. We are fearing something, and therefore we seek protection. And again, I'm going to ask more questions, and you do have to try to read my mind to find the one that I'm looking for. Okay? But they're all right. All of those are correct. But I'm going to bring us on a train of thought here. So we want protection from fear. And what is it that we fear? Huh? Death. That's the wow, she's a mind reader. So but there are other things we fear. We fear other things. What else? I saw another hand. Yes. You have to raise your hand. Huh? The unknown. Yes. Bruce? Not being loved. Neglected. So.
Sufferings, there's the different types of sufferings in the material world.
Yeah.
So we basically fear pain and suffering.
Right. Now, okay, there's more. Good, Jackson.
Loss of control, so the unknown.
Yeah, loss of control, yes.
With some people fear God, and is described demigods out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They perform their duties.
It's too intellectual for us. So. But yes, some even fear God. Anything else? Yeah. Loss of somebody or something. So the attachment, yeah.
Well, can I say what like a devotee fears?
Not yet. We're going down the general. We're gonna go down and then we're gonna come up, okay?
Okay, so call on me then.
Yes. So why do we fear death? That's the next one. So death, so first we want protection. And protection because why? We're fear. And our ultimate fear is we're afraid of death. Why are we afraid of death? Jonathan. Just say it out loud.
I'm afraid it's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt for pain.
Yeah, for pain.
Yes. What else? Why are we afraid of death? That's it. That could be the end. Christine? Yeah. Again, unknown was there. Yes, you.
And we have everybody wants to be young forever because we feel like we want to be eternal because we actually are eternal. And so nobody wants, the soul is actually eternal. So there's this fear for people who aren't turning to Krishna of not having that.
So afraid of the end, basically. That's obvious.
Yeah. Like a loss also, because everybody wants the feeling of freedom and happiness and joy and love and all of these things, and death for a lot of people represents like the end of all of that. Like all of the relationships are ending.
Yeah. Carly, you were going to say something? In general. Forgetting, like everything is an end. Yeah. So when you're pain, there's no conclusion or there's no idea of the next, right? So we are, yes, Nitan.
So we fear death because we love people, our relatives, and we feel like we can love them.
Yeah. So let's look at more into the reasons of the fear of death. I'm still looking for a word. Yes. Attachment. She's very good. Wow, that's two. We're attached. We're attached to the people around us. We're attached to our life. We're attached to all our things. And we're thinking that it's the end. But we're so attached, we don't want to lose it. So this is this progression. We're attached. We're afraid of death. And therefore we're always in fear. And therefore we're seeking protection. But where does protection usually go to? If that's your train, if that's the connections, where does protection usually go to? Yeah. Do you have an example? Yeah. When you're a child, it's mama or dada. When you're older, it's the doctors. We think, oh yes, I'll go to the doctor and I'll be saved from death. And there's so much. That nurses, when you speak to nurses, generally they say, the hardest part about this job is that people are coming to us, they're thinking they're going to be cured, but many times we can't do it. But we're looking for that, and that's so this whole line of thought and belief, you could say, is it seems trouble from beginning to end. There's always something. There's always that. So now, if we start again by the below death spot, and if we understand what is it, why is it we're attached to things? Why do we become attached to things? Yes. Enjoy them. And who are we? Raise your hand. Yeah. We've identified with the body, and there now is that who is we in this scenario?
Spirit soul.
The spirit soul. Now so when we start all the way back there, at that very beginning, we are all part and parcel of Krishna. We are Jiva. We are a spirit soul. We have a choice. We are independent. We sometimes, when we become embodied, we think, oh, this is me. But we don't really know who I am or who we are or individually. And therefore, everything in association with our first misconception becomes everything to us. So when we breathe, that's everything. If we stop breathing, that fear of death is there because we believe that this is the end. This is me. But when a jiva soul actually understands that they are not, the body or not of the material nature, we are independent of that, and we have a relationship with Krishna, then the fear is still there. We're going to get into that. But the fear changes. Not so much that they're afraid of the death or the attachments, but what do you think a person who understands their relationship with Krishna and has been acting in that relationship with Krishna, what do you think they're afraid of?
They're only afraid of forgetting Krishna.
Yeah.
And not being able to serve Krishna.
Yeah. They become afraid of that. And so then, when we're afraid, we seek protection. Who do we seek protection from in that circumstance? That's an easy one. Okay, you didn't have to raise your hand. Okay, very good. So here, yes, you can raise your hand. So this child, Parikshit, being a great devotee, already you would think, okay, already understood that he is part and parcel of Krishna. He's going to be protected by the Lord, because we also heard that both, it doesn't matter whether it's you or your family, your father or your mother, or your generations up or your generations down. If there's a devotee, Krishna is going to offer the protection. So the protection is very something very stark here. He gives protection personally. Wow. So that's because oftentimes we will say, well, okay, well, yes, many devotees, I've known many devotees, and they are seemingly, snatched away from life immediately. And why wasn't protection given there? So what would you answer to that? Say, oh, Krishna personally is giving protection then. He gives personal protection to his devotee. But I've seen devotees in car accidents. I've seen devotees get choked out by fire. We've seen devotees just, get terrible diseases and fall away, and their bodies fall away. But where was the protection then? Yes? In their soul, in consciousness. What else does he protect? The relationship, exactly. That's what. And Prahlad Maharaj states very compassionately, I'm not afraid of this guy, this demon, this father. I was never afraid of him. But what I am afraid I am afraid of that, losing that Krishna consciousness, losing it. In Chaitanya Leela also we hear, what is the greatest fear? What's the greatest tribulation? What is the most horrible thing? It's always, if I lose association with devotees. We lose sight of that. So this is specifically, and this protection, this is also one of Lord Chaitanya's gifts. Lord Chaitanya specifically came, of course he came for many reasons, and now we're in the Chaitanya season, after Advaita's appearance and Nityananda's appearance. We're now in full swing of Chaitanya season. So we should be hearing Chaitanya, about Lord Chaitanya every day if we can. But he came for many reasons. Some reasons for his own desires, but then he also came for us. Shikaya Sharanagati. He came specifically to teach these principles of surrender. And one of the principles is Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishvasha Pama. This principle is, and it's actually very mysterious, you could say, or secretive, or it's not just he's giving us that the devotee is feeling protected. But there's such emphasis in this, the way that Bhattavinoda and the way that Lord Chaitanya is teaching Sanatana Goswami this principle of Avashya Rakshide Krishna. That so Rakshibe is protection. Krishna gives protection to the devotee. And it is Avashya. Avashya means certain protection. So again, our mind is going to think, but didn't protect that devotee. The devotee got no karma. But the devotee is not shaken by that, because it's Vishvasha Palana. Vishvasha is faith, and Palana is maintains it. He doesn't get shaken. That Krishna didn't protect him. No, he protected him ultimately. That relationship with Krishna, as Nitai was saying, and brought us our attention to, that is what he's protecting. And we hear the prayers of the devotees in Sharanagati. So many devotees in this full surrendered attitude that Krishna will give me protection no matter what. And then what does the devotee say? You may kill me or you may not kill me. That's up to you, but I'll feel protection. So this doesn't mean that now we become reckless. We become reckless. Krishna will protect me. I'll drive and I'll read the Bhagavatam at the same time because Krishna will protect me. No, it's not like that. But Krishna will protect our devotional service. So protect that relationship, as he says in Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita is just filled with promise after promise after promise after promise. And he says, any advancement on this path, you will keep them. Any advancement. So because it's Narottam's appearance day, and because we're talking about protection, I wanted to share a song by Narottam Das Thakur on protection. And this will give us a glimpse, although we've heard the theoretical side of how the devotee feels protection. Here's a glimpse of the Mahabhagavat devotee, as Prabhupada was explaining to us in this purport, how the Mahabhagavat feels protection from Krishna. So this is from his work Prema Bhakti Chandrika, and it's only 7 verses, so I think we can get through them. I won't say the Bengali, but I'll refer to it here. So the first verse, O Lord, you are an ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, Dina Jana Bandhu. You are the friend of the poor. Please mercifully glance towards me. I have fallen into the ocean of illusion where whales in the form of lust swallow me. So imagine being in an ocean, first of all, being out in the ocean. That's very fearful because we're not ocean dwellers naturally. So it's very fearful. But then if you become swallowed by a whale, how much more fearful? That's the material line of thought. For the devotee, he's seeing if I'm swallowed by lust, and lust is attraction to things not related to Krishna. If I'm swallowed by that, oh, that is worse than being out in the middle of an ocean getting swallowed by a whale. If I am attracted by anything other than Krishna, oh, that is the worst. And so then he calls out, he says, Nata, oh my Lord, Kara Paritrana, please protect me. Please protect me from that whale. Please protect me from these qualities that drag me down, that take my attention away from you. Second, since my birth, now he turns very humble, because he's saying what his fear is, and he's also equating that if I'm attracted to anything other than you, that will be the death of me. So again, the same lot. We seek protection because we're afraid of death. Here, the devotee sees, yes, if I'm away from Krishna, Bahir Mukh, if I turn my head away from Krishna, or when the curtains close, that is like death to me. If I've turned away from Krishna. So he's in a very humble, now he's petitioning, well, here's a qualification. I have committed unlimited offenses and have not worshipped you without duplicity. Meaning, he's saying very humbly, of course, but this is not Narottama. He's saying that I've worshipped you, but I've gotten some fame from it. Oh yes, you did very nicely, or you sang a very nice kirtan. Oh, that was a wonderful prep you just made. It was devotion, it was meant for Krishna, but somehow I got something out of it. There was a little duplicity in my heart when I performed that service. So in a very humble mood, we have to sometimes recognize that when that appears in our hearts. These are, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, these are the weeds in our garden of devotion. Nevertheless, so even though, here's my disqualification, nevertheless, you are my only shelter. So I'm not, even though I struggle, but still I am fully dedicated to you. You're my only shelter. Pranapati, you're Pranapati. Pati is like the Lord of the husband. You are the Lord of my life. Please do not neglect me. There is none more fallen than me. So he's petitioning now. So just as we may ask for protection, this is the mood of our asking of protection. Vishvasha Palana, and we maintain that. We should maintain that very strongly in our devotion. O Lord Shamasundar, Tomara Shama, you are known as the savior of the fallen. Patita Pavana Nama, your name is Patita Pavana. The very name is Patita, that you are savior of the fallen. So in the last verse, I've just established myself as fallen. O Lord Shamasundar, if you neglect me, I have no alternative. I have nothing else. Don't give everything away. If you neglect me, I have no alternative. Even if I be an offender, you are my only hope. You are my only hope. just as a husband is the only hope for a chaste wife. Fully dependent, fully. This is the glimpse of the Mahabhagavat. Lord of my heart, please hear my prayer. And so when we read these are prayers that, we can either adopt this prayer as much as we can, or we should be saying our own prayers. Vandanam is one of our processes of devotional service. We should be praying to the Lord, and we should be praying, honestly, because it's just you and the Lord at that point in a prayer. You don't spout out your prayer to everybody. It's just you and the Lord. So be honest. Please hear my prayer. You are the Supreme Lord. Please do not reject me. Even if I commit offenses, still you are my only protector. So he's acknowledging, yes, I'm still struggling. And this certainly is something I can feel and apply in my life. Yes, I struggle so much to be not swallowed by the whale of lust and not be attracted to other things. I struggle with that. But I know that Krishna is the only source of prananata. He is the true life, this true life force for me. So I will always seek his protection. Please give me some insignificant service and consider me your own servant. My heart, so here's another, like the whale of lust. So my heart is pierced by lust. So we start with the heart. Heart, oftentimes we feel that this is like the emotional side of the human being, is the heart, but it's pierced by lust. My emotions are always looking for some lust. And then I cannot vanquish the material desires by my polluted mind. So there's the heart, or the emotional side, then the mind is trying to figure it out. And if the mind is polluted by lust, it's always going to just give us more and more trouble. Oh my Lord, and he says something so nice. Tumi mancha kalpatu. You are the wish-fulfilling desire tree. Please accept and purify me, and let everyone see your mercy. Now this sounds a little bit duplicitous, doesn't it? But he's doing it, he's saying it in such a way that your name is and he's established himself as very fallen. So if you save me, and this is seen, then other people will get faith. Vishvasha Pamana, that faith will increase in them. I really like this verse. Oh my Lord, please look throughout the three worlds. There is no one more fallen than me. So be celebrated as the deliverer of Narottama. Narottama Pavana Nama. Let your name be Narottama Pavana, the deliverer of Narottama. Throughout the three worlds of birth and death, let it be known that Lord Shamasundar is the deliverer of the fallen souls. Therefore, O Giridhari, make me your own servant. So it's so wonderful, so personal. And then he calls out to Krishna as Giridhari. Giridhari is certainly that person who's shown protection by his very actions to his dear devotees who were suffering in the terrible rainstorms of Indra and being crushed by the pillars of water and the lightning and the flooding, and the intention was to kill them, but Giridhari just protected them all. Not one person was neglected there. Giridhari. So he's he's asking for that. He's asking, protect me like your own servant, like the cows and like the gopis and like the gopas and all the residents of Vrindavan. Make me as one of them. And so he concludes, Narottama Bala Dukhi. Oh Lord, Narottama is very unhappy. Please make me happy by inspiring me to perform Sankirtan. My greatest fear, so we were talking about fear. And what is our fear? Our fear of death, our fear of abandonment, our fear of the unknown, all these fears. Narottama's greatest fear is that I will not be able to surpass the impediments on the path of devotional service. What did he refer to those as? The lust, the wail of lust, the piercing of lust, the manipulation of lust in the mind. All these things are impediments. Hence, I pray to you constantly. Anukshana. He's constantly praying. So it's not that we offer a prayer to Krishna and then, boss, I'm done, no more. Krishna, it's like putting a letter in the post office. If I get a reply, I'll get a reply. No, it's you put a letter every moment into the post box. And you're always expecting Krishna's mercy. That's one of the, you're always expecting Krishna's mercy. And it may not come. But that's his prerogative. That's his. Manasa Deha, you may kill me, you may otherwise you may protect me, but it doesn't matter. Vishvasha Palana, I maintain very strong faith that Avashya, that you will certainly protect me. So this is the mood that we try to cultivate when we're learning about Krishna and practicing, when we're chanting our Hare Krishna rounds, or if we're doing some service, if we're chanting Hare Krishna in congregation, we're trying to become that dependent, as dependent, create our dependence on it. Because yes, we are. I'm still very dependent. We're so dependent on gadgets now, and we're dependent on so many things. But try to cultivate a dependence on Krishna, and you'll feel certainly avashya, you will certainly feel protected by Krishna. So, can I end here for any comments or discussion?
Thank you, Prabhuji. I was thinking throughout your class that you're speaking about asking for protection. I guess if you're honest, we are rarely thinking of ourselves to be in a dangerous situation. We're quite comfortable. So Prabhupada used to say that's our problem. We don't have enough fear of Maya and what can happen. So I guess to ask for shelter, we have to first realize our situation and how can we do that on a daily basis.
Yeah, I think it's being introspective, because a lot of times we're not so introspective. We do tend to put on the automatic pilot. Okay, I did this yesterday and I did it the day before. Today will be just like that. And I don't have, just go on and go on and go on, day after day after day. And until, like you said, something happens, we have a deer jumps out in front of our car, all of a sudden, we become very alert all of a sudden with our driving. And that lasts for a week or two, right? And then you start getting lax again and you're driving. So that's kind of like how it is. But it's a turn. You know, we have to sometimes. You know, we just pick up the beads and we just like Hare Krishna. There's no like, okay, why am I chanting Hare Krishna? Let me offer a prayer. Can I hear your name today, Krishna? Let me hear at least just one mantra, even. Offer some prayers. And these will help us become more conscious, Krishna conscious. That's our endeavor, is to become conscious of what we're doing. And and when we catch ourselves in that automatic pilot zone, then okay, back up a little bit. Sometimes you need a retreat, a break, to like, okay, let me just take a day, let me do some digital detox, get away from all that, and let me just hear and chant very thoughtfully, and let me do some writing, some journaling, which will help again kind of make ourselves really attuned to our feelings and where we're at. And then usually you always come out a little bit determined, but that determination always seems to wane. You need another retreat, or another break, or another time where we need to really focus again. And we'll you'll learn that as you go through your life. You're going to need times. There'll be times you actually do need that autopilot. If you're like a mother or father or something, you got to be on call 24 hours a day almost for a child in their first 2 or 3 years. It's like, there's a lot of responsibility there. And if I can just get through the day, I've succeeded. But then there'll be times, okay, they're at school, they're sleeping. Now I can, okay, where am I? What do I need help with now?
Thank you very much. There's something I forgot earlier this morning when I was making announcements. I just want to take full advantage of it, considering it's a very auspicious day of Apperance Day of Narottama Das Thakur, who was a lifelong brahmachari. So we made an announcement that Jonathan is renewing his vow for another year. He's renewing his contract for another year of brahmacharya. But I did fail to extend that and check in with the girls if any of the girls are renewing their vows or they're thinking about it. So I'm just putting it out there. It's a very auspicious day, both for brahmacharis and brahmacharinis here to plug in. Yeah. And my question is, well, breakfast is here, so
yes,
I'll ask you.
The answer is yes. Breakfast is here.
I'll ask you as you finish.
Jonathan, you had something?
Just really quick, as we're talking about Mahabhagavats and protection, and of course that makes me think of Prahlad Maharaj, which I think is interesting. He didn't mention him because he mentions him all the time. And Mahabhagavat's like really rare, like it was describing, and I think isn't there like 12 of them or something like that, primary ones?
Those are Mahajanas.
Okay.
Mahabhagavats. Yes, generally the Mahajanas are Mahabhagavats, but Mahabhagavats can be many.
Okay, because it's in kind of middle of the purport, outside of the protection aspect. It's just kind of encouraging us to shoot for that high bar, and then before that, it's saying there's like basically different degrees or grades of devotees. So
yeah, there's and if you want more kind of focused information on that, Nectar of Instruction is a great place to get that, where Rupa Goswami and Srila Prabhupada's purports really kind of go into the depth. But we've often heard from Prabhupada is that we should be, yes, we can shoot for the Mahabhagavad, but we really need to move at least to the Madhyama. We want to get there because the Madhyama is a protection. There's a protection there because of the different relationships. They understand the different relationships with different persons. They serve devotees. They serve those who are more advanced. They make friendship with those who are equals to them. And then they give mercy to those who are just coming or learning. And then those who are, I guess, very inimical, to the point where you can no longer bring them up, they're inimical, those you avoid. And so that's a protection that we use while we're in an ashram. Those are the things we do. And the Kanishta is like, they only see, okay, only Krishna is God, everybody else is not. But they're still going to Krishna. And Krishna, and Prabhupada says in the purport that Krishna, to all three grades, Krishna is giving protection. So we may be all Kanishtas. I'm certainly in the Kanishta platform, but we're performing devotional service, which we want to go further, and we want to protect ourselves by doing the service, because it said, I think the last line was, let's get into the service of it. Either the last line of Narottama or the last line of the purport. I can't remember. We're running out of time. That's in the purport. And then the last verse of Narottama was, please let me be in this service. Yes, make me your own servant, O Hari. So that's what we want. That's our striving. We can try to, you cannot artificially become a striving for Mahabhagava. Mahabhagava is something that is attained not by endeavor, but by realization. It's not like, okay, now I'm going to just see everyone is better than me, and I want, Prabhu, can you give class? No, I can't give class because everybody's better than me. Prabhu, how do I chant Hare Krishna? Oh, I can't do much better than me. How can I tell you? That's Mahabhagava. So. Yeah. Okay, I see breakfast is waiting, but Bruce, yes, quick.
As with X, in the first word it says about the third possibility. I'm going to don't have sufficient knowledge of theological science.
To be able to understand that there are different grades of devotees, there are different grades of living entities. You can't explain Krishna consciousness to anyone. But for some how or other, they have an attraction to Krishna, and they've come, and they're doing something for Krishna, but it's not mature. So I think we're all actually, most of our practices are on the Madhyama level. Actually, the practices of devotional service are given to us to immediately get us solidly there, because that is the safest place for us at this time. And then we'll see. If I start making distinctions, then that's a Kanishta inclination. If I start thinking, this person is nonsense. I only like Krishna. I don't want to hear from this person today because I just want to just hear from Krishna. That's all. That's an indication that we're maybe not quite there yet. And so we want to. I think there's an endeavor to get to the Madhyama platform. And again, that's a whole topic and a whole discussion. We will end here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Narottama Dasa.
Thank you.
What is the Lord released from all kinds of sins, but he who is offered first sacrifice, others observe who first sins,